and bringing five each from each of the other counties and bringing them to for the regional consultation. If you interpretation, if you just say
times. Ladies and gentlemen, could I please ask you to take your seats, close your conversations down. We're almost there. If I could encourage you to take your seats, please, close off the conversations, so we can introduce what's happening this afternoon, give due respect to the people who've come this afternoon. All being well, excuse me, as you can tell, the Geneva air isn't making a huge difference to my British cold. Can you hear me online? Was that good? Okay, so the last afternoon. Oh, beg your pardon.
Give me the microphone.
I have.
Let me turn around. I just have to apologize because I'll have to leave you. I mean, my body will have to leave you, and I will stay with you in the remote room. So it was a pleasure joining you and chatting a little bit and testing this. And I hope to see you some other time in this form, in this avatar body. And you can try it sometime as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Vlada. That sounds very creepy, borrowing your avatar body. I'm not sure I'm the least bit interested in that. Yeah, I could do with that. There comes a time in everyone's life when you think, I could do with another body. So do we have to wait quietly while you make your halting? Actually, not bad. What, you're 2 hours? Whoa. Oh, he's going to show off now and go out backwards. Yeah, bye-bye. Going to show off and go off backwards. Yeah, I know. You're about to hit. Oh, you have just hit, Rito. That's right. You know what it's like when you're drunk, Vlad? I don't mean you personally, but one particularly. It's that feeling again. You were swaying earlier. No, wrong way. Oh, yeah, well done. So, and talking of virtual presentations and talking of different bodies, people online, virtual participants, wouldn't you like to have that kind of attention while you're sitting online at your computer that you get when you have a robot? I speak for myself. The robot speaks either to the child in us, well, the child that is excited or the child that is terrified of things like robots. But whatever, the robot is present. So please do remember, throughout the afternoon, there are at the moment 28, 29, but then we've got multiples. It's sort of 25-ish people. Again, about the same as we have here, slightly less, online. And as we break up this afternoon, they will be joining you in different sessions. So we have 3 sessions reducing in length as we go in the afternoon, which will please you a lot. Between now and tea, we've got the last of our moving around sessions with a different format, yet again. And as we said before, this is experimental, this is engaging in different ways to handle online, face-to-face and blended. Many of you will know of the Knowledge Cafe format. The Knowledge Cafe is where you interrogate a question. You take one question, and participants, in turn, visit that question. There is a question holder, and if you take the example of this question here, I've summarized it as emotions, but it's a question that Kuno asked, which follows on logically from the presentation on digital storytelling when we had a pre-meeting in December. How can you convey emotion through online participation, through blended participation? What are the different means of conveying emotion when not everybody has got a high-resolution camera? I could tell you my Margaret Thatcher story now. Do you remember Margaret Thatcher? Some would say Britain's worst, some would say Britain's best Prime Minister. Randomly, I knew somebody who was the IT consultant when she was choosing a video conferencing system for the British war with no, not Argentina, Malvinas, Falklands, you know the one I mean. The South Atlantic War. And she was between Britain and Argentina and over the subject of the Malvinas or the Falklands. She was looking for a video conferencing system to engage with the commanders. And the consultant did what consultants always do, give you an impossibly expensive option, a ludicrously cheap option, and then the middle one, the one they expect you to take. She took the ludicrously expensive option because, as she said, I need to see the sweat on my commander's brows. I need to see, I need to feel as much as I can. So that question, how do you convey emotions? In this room, we're going to have Nena Mwakanma, a better attempt at your name, Nena, who's online in Addis. And she's going to be talking about Twitter in particular, but social media in general, its role in deepening e-participation, or deepening participation. Isabel Katija? Hi, Isabel. Is also going to be in this room, holding the question, the role of broadcast and mass media. So we talked about multiplicity of different ways of connecting, didn't we? We talked about the social media, we talked about using mass media, direct media. So what's the role of broadcast and mass media? In the other room, in Kutsul, as I've already said, Kuno's holding the question, conveying emotions. And the last one was Roland Schatz, sitting at the back. Thank you, Roland. And Jevan Zam. Sorry, Jevan. Zan. Yeah, I can keep blaming my cold, can't I? But our colleagues will be holding this question, which actually came from Ginger online, again in December. What do you do if you're online and you can see everybody, if they have the camera on, standing in the corner and chatting? You all went up to a physical lunch. People online went off for their personal lunch, but there was none of the stuff that you did. The quick catch-up, here's my car. The quick catch-up, what happened last week. The quick catch-up, do you know, and you introduce people. That random connection you get face-to-face, that's incredibly difficult to replicate online. So that's the question. And the way it works is, there's no real introduction. If the host, I know that Nena has got a couple of slides she wants to show. Isabel's got a story about her actual situation now. An introduction, a couple of minutes. And then have a conversation. Address the question. How can you do this? How can you deepen e-participation? How can you convey emotions? How can you handle informal exchanges? What's the role of broadcast and mass media? What's the role of Twitter and social media? You have the normal 20 minutes-ish, which we change according to how the time goes. And then the question holder remains at the same place, and another group of people come to that spot, and you continue the conversation. The question holder summarizes ideas that came from the previous group, and the conversation continues. There is a flip chart stand, there will be, with each of the 4 stations. There is the bridge moderator, whose role is connecting colleagues online, connecting colleagues here, but also taking notes. And we do that, we've got time for 3 rounds. So you can visit 3 of these questions, and if it works well, and there's no reason why it shouldn't work well, you're such an audience with such rich experience, the conversation deepens. Because the obvious stuff gets said the first time round, you get a bit deeper the second time round. By the third time, if it goes well, you're actually hitting 1 or 2 key questions. And then at the end, depending on time, a very quick feedback, but we will write up the notes. So summary again, and again, colleagues online, as before, there are URLs. You can choose which session you go to. Theoretically, it's quicker for you. You just move from one room to another, while our colleagues in the other room have to walk up and down in the mandatory, somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes it takes to amble up and down that room. Yes?
Although I'm sure that Johan and Roland can cover all the set of issues, they will be also focused on inter-religious and intercultural communication in the overall context. That's the
good to have new things. Okay, so repeat. Nena is here. Isabel is over there. And as before, you have online and face-to-face participants. Please remember to engage with our colleagues online, talking into the camera, the bridge moderator will help you make sure there are any questions. Kuno, Roland, and Jevan, arrange yourself between the two stations there, in the other room. Okay? Please, to your stations. To your rooms. So we need to identify the presentation of Nena. Yeah, she's in Addis. They're not from Addis. Almost sat in my glasses.
Five people.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to find a quiet place so we can begin in 1 minute. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Apologies for, I'm in double conferencing and it's not very easy for me. Arvin, can you please confirm that you can hear me very well? Can everyone in Geneva hear me? Good. I think those online can hear me, but I'm not sure about those on site. I just want to make sure. I can't hear the room myself. Okay, I'll try to put it back on. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can hear the room, but I still can't.
Hello.
But if you can hear me, I think we can go ahead. Arvin, let me know when I can go ahead from here. Good. It's 2:20 in Geneva and 1:20 in Abidjan. Good afternoon and welcome. I hope you have a good lunch. I'll be speaking for the next 15 minutes on deepening participation with one platform that we all know, the Bluebird, or otherwise known as Twitter. Twitter is actually the charter of a group of birds. That's where it originally comes from. So in the nature of Twitter, oh, you can see me as well. Okay. Let me start sharing. Okay, so you see me. Oh my goodness. All right. Right. I started by saying that Twitter is the sound for a group of birds. So in its nature, it's collective, it's participatory, and it's social. So what I want to talk about is deepening participation through Twitter. Next slide, please. Okay. Quickly, the idea of participation, especially with Twitter, is the power of one multiplied by all. In otherwise, it could be government to government, government to citizens, but now we're looking at three parts because government to government, most of you already know that's what you practice as diplomats. The first is government to citizens. In this case, there is a government Twitter account, or there is a government hashtag that is linked to an event, that is linked to a thematic, that is linked to one problem, that is linked to an issue, and the government expects citizens to come back in, tweeting on that. There is the other one, citizens to government, in which citizens, this is what we most often see, begin a hashtag to send a message to the government. Now, depending on how the government receives that. So there is citizen to citizen. and there is government to citizens, and citizens to government. But I'm going to come back and give you a few examples, which I feel that is actually where the issue is. Next slide, please. Okay, so why Twitter? Like I said, the Twitter is the collective chirping, the collective talk of birds among themselves. The first reason why Twitter is very important for deepening conversations, for deepening participation, and this is what I want you to take along with you. It's open, it's light, and it's got multiple applications. APIs are very frequent in Twitter. The thing about Twitter that it makes it different from, for instance, another social media that we all know, Facebook, is that you need to be, in Facebook you have friends, and it is very easy for people to see things among them, their friends and with themselves. But in Twitter, anyone can click on your name and read on everything that you've posted on your timeline. The first other thing is so it's open in nature. Now you have the very light part of it. You can do, some of you know, you can tweet with SMS alone. You can actually send an SMS to a Twitter account. It will appear on your Twitter line. That's how light Twitter is. It does not need a lot of bandwidth. And the other thing about Twitter is the multiple applications. There's a photo application, there is a collection application, there is a hashtag integration application, there is even the chat application in Twitter. There is a lot. I use TweetDeck. Can I see the hands of people who use TweetDeck? Have you ever used TweetDeck? Nobody? Okay, I see one or two who use TweetDeck there. Are there other people in the room who do not just use Twitter, but who use Twitter applications, other third-party applications of Twitter? Anybody using anything else? Like Uber or anything? Uber social. So there are quite a number of Twitter applications that you can use. And this makes it appealing to young people, old people, to media, to everyone across societal strata. Now, the most important thing about Twitter may be the second point, which is searchability. Searchability means that if myself I want to search Twitter, my tweet can search within Twitter itself. But another person can search for my tweet away from which means that Twitter is referenced by Google. All Twitter content is referenced by Google, and you can search for it on Google and find it. That is an added especially when you want people to participate. So even if something has happened 2 years ago, it is possible for you to search for it on Twitter, or search for it on Google, or search for it on Bing, on Yahoo, on any other search machine, because content on Twitter is searchable. Now, the hashtag, like we all know, is the mini aggregator for all content on Twitter. I think apart from the word search or share in social circles, apart from that function share, the most other important function we've seen today is the hashtag. Once you put that hashtag, it turns the word after it into a keyword. It turns it into a topic. It turns it into a book. You can easily just pull that and publish. So that searchability that is enabled by the hashtag is key in letting people get engaged. So sometimes what I normally do is whenever I log on to Twitter, I look at the trending, what's happening, what's new, and it could come from anywhere. The last part, number 3, is virality. Now, I don't know if that word exists in English. In English, we say ability to go viral. In French, viralité is not the same as going viral, okay? So please don't quote me on this. But the idea is that once it's out there, you can actually ask help for other governments, from other people, from colleagues. Please help me to retweet this. Please share it. And now you've seen that variability can actually stretch across networks. Once something starts trending on Twitter, Facebook users are interested in it. Google Plus is interested in it. Of course, all the photos about it is going to show up on Instagram, and they'll be using the same hashtag to share a picture, a selfie with my daughter. It was an effort to encourage people to be more open. And so the family, there were 3 ladies in the photo, and I said, oh, I love this. It had gone viral in India, and people were like, yeah, this African beautiful faces. So the possibility of taking an idea and running with it, it's most seen in the Twitter environment. So if we want to engage people, if we want people to participate, if we want them to love this, I think Twitter is the place that anything can go viral if you put your mind to it. Now on virality, if a government or if a representation is doing something, I don't know who here is from the Netherlands. Shout out to the Netherlands ambassador in Sudan, who said, if we get X number of people to like our page on Facebook, I am going to swim across the Nile. And girl, did she do it? She did. And it went viral. So once you have an idea that has gone viral, it is very easy to engage people in the issues. And she was doing this not just for her organization, she was doing this to call attention to the gender issues in Sudan. So variability is something that Twitter can help you do if you just don't want to engage the people you represent, but also want to engage the whole world. I do know, I'm cognizant of the fact that so many representations in Geneva may have issues they want the world to care about, they want the world to know about. I think that Twitter is the place for you to engage the whole world on a particular issue. Or next, that's the last but one slide. Next slide, please. My next slide is actually on how. Yeah. So how in Twitter. When we were fighting Ebola in West Africa, and by the way, I'm in West Africa, in Abidjan. It started in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. And for once, I actually did write something that I submitted to government, said, democracy empowered by Ebola. I was in Nigeria when the case broke out in Nigeria. for once in my lifetime, I saw the Nigerian government going all out on all media, trying to tell Nigerians what to do about Ebola. Every government was giving news. Everybody needed to get engaged. All citizens needed to be on board. And I could tell you that if not for the engagement on all media platforms by governments, the news on Ebola would have been worse than what we had today. So this has been it has proved efficient, at least in West Africa. Even today, the government still tweets in the country I live in about Ebola, what to do, what not to do. And I think that was very instrumental. Elections in Nigeria and Burkina Faso that just happened recently, all of them in the last year. What we've seen is that the National Electoral Commission did a social compact, a social partnership with citizens. Guys, we want you to help us. Tweet all the information you can. Do this, do that. And in Nigeria, INEC Nigeria, their hashtag is at INEC Nigeria, was using Twitter to give results. In Burkina Faso, it was the same, and people were tweeting back. So the first case is the case of government to citizens. That is the case of Ebola in West Africa. So governments were tweeting to citizens. But in the second case, citizens were tweeting with governments, giving back information, showing what has happened in the place that X, Y, Z place that have voted, saying what is good, saying what is bad, giving all kinds of information, asking questions, and sharing photos on Twitter. And that was helpful, especially for the case of Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Because by the end of the last day in Nigeria, the outgoing president, the incumbent president, s'il vous plaît, because in Africa, incumbents hardly step out because they always show they will win. But because of the social engagement, because of the participation, it was practically impossible for Mr. Goodluck Jonathan to challenge the results, because he knew that almost every Nigerian was calculating. Almost every Nigerian was on Twitter. Almost every Nigerian that was online on Twitter, and everybody were calculating that we saved ourselves a lot of trouble, because people who have engaged have helped us reach a peaceful. Can anyone still hear me? Okay, so we could reach peaceful solutions in terms of elections. The last one is Kenyans on Twitter. Kenyans on Twitter, this is citizen to citizen. It has nothing to do with government. It has nothing to do with administration. Okay, I've been told to pause. Okay, let me know when to. Okay, good. Right, cool. Just let me know when to start.
I'm really irritated to see how many media relations departments think it is enough that they are tweeting something or that they are pressing a button and saying, well, via email I sent it out to everybody, without making sure by picking up the phone, did the journalist in BBC, are the friends from Facebook, are really understanding what we try to say and that we get the message out. Let me be very precise. I was very happy that I was among those who helped the wall coming down 25 years ago. We didn't need tweets because there was no tweet existing, and we didn't need social media, and Jovan was doing exactly the same in his country. We were doing it because we were engaging. We tried to find out where are the lighthouses so we can communicate with the guys, but we got this wall coming down. In today's world, we are full of all these problems, and we think if we just have something on our website, that's enough. One of the reasons why millions are coming to Europe is because UNHCR as well as IOM didn't do their job correct. They managed to get the world community coming together and say, yes, we are going to pay for these 5 billion, which were necessary to feed the people in the tents in Jordan, in Turkey, and in Lebanon. But where were they? Asking these member states that they finally pay that money. By October last year, only 42% of these 5 billion were paid. What was with social media? What was with the Twitter capacity of UNHCR? I don't need a Twitter capacity, I don't need social media. All I need is a phone to call the office of the president, of the prime minister of each country who promised to give this amount of money that all in all we get these 5 billion, asking them, look, in Kuwait you committed to X, where is your money? When are you going to pay? Work the phones. At the end of the day, we remain human beings. And at the end of the day, it's a question, can I look into your eyes? And I feel good by doing so because I delivered what I promised to you, and vice versa. There is no social media which will get me out of this basic element of humankind.
With online dynamics, we're close, but we'll continue discussion with the second group. Thank you very much for a great start and great talk. Yeah, we'll be now. No, you stay here. We get the next. Are we getting people? Okay, let's get started. Okay, we are just continuing our discussion on deepening the participation and relevance of emotions in social and electronic communication. What we had in the first part, I'm sorry, remote participant. What we had in the first part was very interesting discussion on the limits of this short communication and responsibility. Let's say social responsibility in, if I can say, in Zoroastrian tradition, to keep the fire of humanity, of the core values of society. And can we convey it via electronic means? To what extent? What we can shorten? And it was very lively debate with our guests, Jovan and Roland. And I will just pass the mic to two of them to give to move discussion the next phase and to give a sort of summary intro, because we'll build on the discussion from the first phase, please.
So the short version was that as Geneva is the hub for peace, rights, and well-being, and the world is not really aware of that till now, the question is how can we create this perception change and let the world know that Geneva is the place to go to for these three topics, and engage with the world, engage with both those who are lacking peace, those who are lacking rights, and those who are lacking well-being, as well as with those who might have new ways of helping implement this. I myself, I was talking about the example of how to overcome the stereotype-driven news selection on religion. We are seeing now, since 9/11, a very horrible trend where the mass media are reducing one religion, Islam, to nothing else than basically the source of terror. 9 out of 10 reports on Islam in last year were related to terror attacks. And I'm not ignoring the fact that, yes, there were terror attacks, but the question is, number one, were these terror attacks really in line with Islam? Or maybe was Islam kidnapped by the terrorists? Is Islam kidnapped by ISIS and all these guys? Number one. But the more relevant topic is there something happening within the Muslim communities all around the world which is not associated with terror? Are Muslim communities running schools? Are Muslim communities running hospitals? What is happening in this world on all continents where Muslims are in charge, where they do work which can inspire us, which can help us, which can create problems for us, but we are not aware of it in a time where BBC and French TV and Swiss TV are reducing everything in regards to Islam to only one topic, which is terror attacks. So we found a way how to break through, and with the support of the Internet Geneva hub, and with the United Nations here in Geneva under Michael Muller's leadership, there was a very concrete initiative which took less than 3 weeks from having the idea to have Ban Ki-moon meet with the Grand Mufti of Egypt last week, Tuesday, here at the Palais, and then announcing the initiative in Davos, all done in less than 3 weeks, including a book being printed so everybody can read what the initiative is about, how the UN is responding to it, how are the Catholics responding to it, etc. So by taking the best out of all channels, Geneva has the capacity to show the world that, yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Maybe we need a new microphone. So my name is Jevon. I'm from Singapore, and I was brought into this initiative with Roland, not because, as I said in the other group, because I am of somebody. I'm as I say, I'm the amoeba. I'm the single cell organism that exists out there, but it was an opportunity to make a difference in this world. So this is why I'm here. And in another world where I'm not working, we have young people's programs in Singapore that we try to give them some understanding of what it takes to be successful, and we do some life skills training and on a range of topics, and also we introduce them to sustainability, because it's the perfect, most neutral vocabulary to use across religions and across races, because we have no bias in sustainability except one, that we would like a better world for each other. So that's what I do.
Thank you. Based on this intro, the key question in our discussion in the previous group was the question of emotions, and the underlying theme both in Roland and Giovan's presentation, the introductions, are emotions, how we convey emotions which are very often underlying element in the question of faith and the question of perception. And what I covered in your book was the question of dignity. Those are not mathematical concepts, those are concepts of perception. Therefore, we have strong emotional aspects in the all interfaith communication, or what Jevan is doing in the question of bringing youth and the new generation, the process. Therefore, we're speaking into something which is, let's say, rebuilding emotional house of modern society when the foundations are really shaken to some extent by our highly rational approach to the problems. I don't say it's the only problem, but we are now in the rebuilding process of our emotional building of the civilization. It's a grand project, and Roland contributed quite a few important bricks in this building, Jevan, and that's probably the context in which we should see how we use the social media in this rebuilding the process.
Joanne, thanks for organizing this, and I think it's a very important topic, and I thank you too for speaking on that. I think what I like to do is to stress emotions, tend to have an owner. It's my emotion. How do that become sort of our emotion? We need to have a medium, is a capacity which is about empathy, that I can somehow recognize and feel what you feel. And without that, it's very difficult to have any form of working relationships and go beyond stereotyping. Right? So I think we have to bring that word back in terms of empathy that is going beyond race, culture, gender, and any other things. But how do you establish an empathetic response? If you look at films, it's an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's a huge warm-up trying to bring you into that stage. And now we're talking about media, or internet connection. It tends to be a very cold instrument. And then, so I think, if we want to continue sort of broaden our connectivity through the new media, ICT technology, we need to start to understand how can we still have empathetic response and in a two-way sense. Because you cannot be empathy if I don't look at your eyes and see, whatever the message is there, the emotions there. So, we don't have this synchronicity necessarily, and that's really the challenge. Social media, it's fine, but I can walk away. I didn't like what you said. I turn it off and I walk away. I switch channels. So there's really never really this possibility to stay on the contact boundary to allow us both to be human.
Thank you, Liche. I wanted to ask Joanne, you are from Singapore, which is high-tech society, and you're dealing with youth. What is the empathy pool of, let's say, Singaporean youth? I'm noticing in some, starting from my daughter, the question of, because there is no engagement, there is no responsibility, what Licia mentioned. When you are not responsible, the empathy is element. What is your experience from Singapore in this?
I think the experience not only from our current work with young people, but also in our other businesses previously in terms of multi-massively player games and et cetera, just to give an example, we were the first one to do live streams in 1999, where I have over 1 million people watching live into internet games. But the issue here of empathy is just this, you need to relate to somebody to be able to empathize with them. So is the internet the best way of doing it? Now, we have lots of instances where our children, our friends connect via the internet and they say they empathize with that person. But do you really use that as the medium for empathy? No. What happens is you do have coffee with each other. You have shared experiences that are real. So then the connection of empathy comes out during those shared experiences that allows the internet to enable a flow of empathy. So it's in what context do you use this and how do you use it? So as I said, we are transmission neutral. We don't care what transmission is out there to reach out to somebody. Let's just figure out how to use it correctly. In the internet, you have horror stories of people saying who they are, who they might be, and they're actually not that same person. So And well, it happens in real life too. And when you meet somebody, that person may not be necessarily the person that he or she says she is. So then we then need to develop tools for our children, for ourselves, to say, hey, this is not right, what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing. So it's just that, it's developing the right tools.
I think the responsibility we have is that instead of trying to pretend being 16, and it's very obvious that I'm not 16, my responsibility to the 16-year-olds is that I share with them the first time I fall in love with a girl and what that means, and the reasons why I didn't marry her, and why I married my wife, and what went wrong in all these things. Because research shows that those kids, especially in America and Asia, if you analyze their size of brain, especially their size of the emotional brain, it's shrinking. It absolutely, it's already done, and yeah, it's all done, and it's our responsibility to show them that you need to be able to sit in the chair, stay in the chair, if I'm telling you something what you might not want to hear and what makes you cry. We need to talk about sickness, we need to talk about death, because sooner or later they are confronted with this. And you then can't Google around, how am I dealing with that? It's really absurd. There's a fantastic poem written by Mr. Goethe. Sorry, he's a German, and it's called the Zauberlehrling. No clue what it is in English. The apprentice of magic guy or whatever. And he wrote that 300 years ago, so no clue about the internet. But it was exactly that every capacity mankind is developing has to serve the human beings, and not we, the human beings, have to serve technology. And right now, when I'm watching what Mr. Zuckerberg is doing, what Bill Gates is doing, what the Google guys are doing with us, is trying to prove Mr. Goethe wrong. But life is the other way around. Goethe is wrong, and Goethe is right, and they are wrong. It's technology has to serve us, it has to serve our kids, and it is our responsibility to share with our kids. As I said earlier on, you can reduce the magic flute to 140 characters, but you will just not get the magic of the magic flute if you think you can put it down on a tweet. You have to go sit into the opera and just enjoy Papageno and his fight to get Papageno. If you are not doing that, you are missing out on the essential of life.
You were not inspired by the fourth industrial revolution in Davos?
So I would have a different perspective on this. I really see that the internet is just a channel. As voice, singing, movies is just a channel. There is nothing new there. And it's the message, the communication that goes down it, that's the important thing. And we may be focusing on technical training, technical safety, but it's the conversations, the imparting your parents' wisdom or lack of, that's key here. And this is just as valid in the business world. The communication, the message is the powerful thing, whether it's corrupted or manipulative or honest and open or factual, the internet will convey it. You'll find a way to do this and get your emotion across, if that's what your objective is. If it's factual, you can do that.
You're involved in the psychoanalysis, huh? This is one of your hobbies, huh?
Psychoanalysis, what I mean, therapy.
Yeah, microphone. Because Davide is our person who is helping us with technology, but he has so many talents. What do you think, Davide, on seeing this discussion? I noticed that you were carefully monitoring not only if the screen works, but also you were putting your other hat on
Yeah, yes, but the fact is, I followed the conversation a bit on and off, so I didn't follow the whole things. Yeah, but I don't know if you have a question, particular things. Or...
Is there in your field of psychological analysis, or is there any reflections on the impact of the internet on the way how we think?
Not really, but is most the way of are we free or not? It's more about the compulsion, or maybe some stuff like this.
So the question is, are young people that are exposed to internet more or less empathetic to other people? And and I guess the extension of that question is, does the internet or the new technologies facilitate or hinder? Anecdotally, because I do not have empirical data on this, in the context of the kids that we come across who are extremely savvy on the internet, and every, I guess, 3 to 6 months they change a new platform, where I have to, as a dinosaur, learn the new platform. I find that when I get them in real settings where they have real interactions with other people, or other kids, there's for those that are alone by themselves, tweeting or WhatsApping or whatever platform that they're on, they are a little uncomfortable, but they very quickly adapt, and they very quickly get connected, and they very quickly want more of that real connection. And because of the realities of life, when they go back out and when they're back in their homes and when they're in school, you can't get together really physically with somebody else. They use the platforms. So anecdotally, I can say that it doesn't matter whether the young person is using the technologies completely 100%, it still doesn't change that person. In the need for human companionship and communication. And if you give them a real opportunity, it's most likely they enjoy it better than just in the internet world. It's a one-way conversation. It's one sentence, and you wait for the other one to come in, and you process it line by line. So it's singular. It's very lonely tweeting.
There's one clear example, this abuse of the term friendship. And you know what I'm talking about. And then letting kids realize what friendship actually is about and what you have to invest into a friend. And I don't want to use the term invest. I would not use it if I could speak my own language. Friendship, dedicated or whatsoever, it's completely different. And I think it is one of the biggest sins to the young generation that somebody is allowed to use this term friendship where he means something completely else. And kids who believe that type of stuff then get irritated when they, in real life, have to understand what friendship is about. And I'm only talking about friendship. Let me talk about love, and then they fail completely. Because you can't walk away from somebody you fall in love with. He might walk away with you because he's not responding, but you can't. Your heart is stick to that person, and it hurts you. And if you're not able to deal with that, now you can send out, I don't know how many tweets. It won't help you. And that is what we need to share with them. We need to engage with them. We need to find all these techniques which are existing so we reach them early enough, because the older we get, the more complicated it gets that we learn it.
Thank you. There is a question from our online participant, Jolie. To what extent does narcissism affect or contribute to online expression?
Selfie.
I think the internet is the biggest driver of that bullshit. When I see people doing selfies, I can vomit. When I'm this whole thing of that you are focused on yourself, how dare can you do that? It's about the other. The moment you grow is about how can you contribute to another person, which is the opposite of doing a selfie. You can do how many selfies, that doesn't cost a peep. It's like with media relations, press a button, send something out. That doesn't change the world. Pick up the phone and call the person to whom you send something and ask, did you receive it? Do you like it? Maybe you don't like it. Let's get engaged. That's the difference, and it's exactly. But again, read Goethe. He wrote a piece on that.
I think just one comment, especially with the kids and the other generation, and in terms of relating on an emotional level, I think kids so much communicate more visually, and I think that's where they communicate on an emotional level more. I mean, compared to we used to listen to music, now they wouldn't listen to any music without a video. I think it's very much, my daughter, for example, she uses Instagram a lot. She says, actually, I'm fed up of all the bad news stuff, and I want to see good images that create a sort of an emotional connection with somebody else. And I think the visual side of things is very important on that level.
We will be concluding Thank you. Thank you. That's just a little comment. I remember in the 80s, I returned back to Europe. And that time in the psychologist community.
Okay, thank you to our remote participants. We are now changing the tables and we'll be starting in this room shortly a third round of discussion with Roland Schatz and Jevan Zan. Please bear with us for a few moments. Thank you.
So, and what I see is that internet is a perfect place for people who has the difficulty connect with the other. But it's all relationship with it.
But we were so happy back in the 1990s when we
Oh, yeah. So I'm the general and artistic director of the International Film Festival and Forum on Human Rights in Geneva, taking place every year in March since 14 years. We have an enormous media coverage. We have an impact like not many more events linked to cinema and human rights have. We have a lot of young public also. Half of the public is really young, which is an achievement. And we're still having a lot of reflection and rethinking the way we communicate and rethink our impact and awareness strategy. So that's what I want to share with you today very quickly. So we work, regarding this impact and awareness, we work with on three really sides, three ways, three paths, let's say. The medium, the territory, and the public. So the medium first is really to think, what do we have to offer to a public? What are we really? So first we can show films. We can show, but we have to select great films. Films that tell a story, films that really tell the world like you've never seen it before. It's a fantastic way of really engaging people, of having a common language, and of bringing them together, because maybe they're going to come because it's a movie star, but maybe they're going to come because of the thematic. So we have screen fiction and documentaries, only feature film, because I think it's the best way to really get into a story. Then we have debates, debates that need to be surprising, debates that need to be contradictory, debates that need to be, if not contradictory, at least show a different side of a story. Debates where everyone can ask a question, which is sometimes tricky, but I think really fascinating, and debates that are broadcasted live with a Twitter hashtag that allows you to ask questions from everywhere in the planet. And Geneva. The festival is in Geneva. The festival faces the Human Rights Council on Human Rights, so we all have, this is what we have. Then, in terms of public, because as we know, it's not enough. Right now, it's not enough in 2016. You can have a fantastic thing to offer and say, come, come, come. If you don't say it the right way, nobody's really going to come and pay attention. How do you attract this attention from people? So we first work with the public. So we really try to segment the public and to address this public in a completely different way. So first, the young public, which, as I said, adore the festival because it's partly interactive, I think, because they can have a voice, because they can criticize, and they can have also film and discussion. We also work with the migrant local communities in Geneva. For instance, if we have a film about Eritrea, we're going to go to the Eritrean community and say, look, we have this film. It's going to be on on March 13. Can you please share the info on Twitter, on Facebook, and so on? This works fantastically. We work with film buffs, the film communities also saying, please come and see the film, which is fascinating because these guys are going to see the film because they heard about it in Cannes or somewhere else, and then they're going to stay for the debate, which I think is really interesting. Then we work also with NGOs. Every night the debate is co-presented by NGOs, and we love to mix international and local NGOs. For instance, we can have a discussion co-presented by the DiploFoundation and, a really small NGO working in Geneva, working on the field in Africa, for instance, if the thematic is right. Which is fantastic because then, or if we take Amnesty International, they're going to move all their audiences, but the local NGO can even be even more committed to bring local people, funders, and their fans. Then we work on territory. I think that more and more the conscious have people coming in to see you. You have to go to people. You have to bring a story to people. So we also segment the territory of Geneva to go towards the people. We screen films in all the the cinemas in Geneva, of course, but we also screen films in the museums, for instance. So this year we're going to screen a film, one example, in the Musée d'Ethnographie, the Ethnography Museum. The film is called Among the Believers. It was shot in Islamabad on the Red Mosque.
And we're going to have the film plus a discussion with an ethnographic angle, having people coming about story and religion. So the museum, there's going to be a lot of people of the museum coming. We screen people in the cafes. We just come with a sheet and screen a film. Last year, an example was in the Pickwick pub, a film called Drones that was shot on the hockey little screens where they were watching. We screen film in the theaters, in the physical theaters also, where we program the films with the programmation of the theater at that moment. We screen film in sports center. We screen films, we talked about it at the CERN, for instance, the physics center. We screen films in migrant homes this year, where we mix migrants and people from the neighborhood around, hospitals, psychiatric asylums, and prisons. Always, except the prisons, for security reasons, it's impossible, but everywhere, including the psychiatrist asylum, it's always open to the public. That's our main goal. Plus, of course, the live broadcast. So this year, for the very first time, we will have people gathering around the world to watch our debates live. We will join the people together. So if you're together, I think it will work in a much more efficient way. So yeah, conclusion, it was, I think it's really fantastic to be in a sort of time where you have to completely rethink the way you communicate, the way you go through people, the way you surprise people. And I'm glad to discuss this with you.
Since you said it's the first time you're going to have online debate, like online participation in debate this year, or you have done it already? You have done it.
We've done it since 2 years, but right now it's going to be the first time when we say, because it was always people alone in front of their computer around the world, watching, for instance, last year Snowden talking live, and they were all tweeting and asking questions, but alone. So this year, for instance, we're going to invite Dr. Mukwege from Congo, and we are trying to have people together in Congo to watch the film and then to watch the debate and to live tweeting or asking questions live.
Yeah, so it's more like a local hubs, remote hubs of people. Okay, and do you do anything? Because you said talk a lot about the young people. I guess among those young people might also be children. Do you have child participation within the festival? And this happened online as well through these remote hubs, or do you have any information on that?
Online on the remote hub, not yet, but it's something we definitely want to work with. We have a pedagogical program, films for children starting with the age of 11. If it's primary school, it's something really completely different. The way you talk about human rights, it's more, against racism and things like that. Things that are really already well covered by the schools. Really, we don't have much more to say. But starting with 11, I think, in regards of analyzing an image, in ways of criticizing things, asking questions, yes, we do have something to bring. So we really focus on 11 to 19 with mini one film, one subject and debates, which means the film and then a debate with really people, high-level people coming. We had Eric Cantona or Barbara Hendricks, High Commissioner, speaking with the children. Everybody loves it, actually. Then we have a youth jury also. They enjoy it a lot. We do that, for instance, also in the child's prison in Geneva. We said, okay, we just don't want to go, it's minors prison, they're less than 18. It's not called a prison, it's called a detention center, but they're there 24/7. And so we said, we can't just go to a prison like that and show and film, say bye-bye. So we use this idea of participation, implementing this young jury. So we have a first session where we discuss what is cinema, what is a reportage, what is a documentary, what are human rights, half an hour around. And then 3 films, one each week, with the filmmaker coming, which is very important. So it's more like films made by people from Geneva, which I think it's interesting because we can say, what we can do from a local level. And then the 5th session is this prize. So they watch the film and they ask questions to the filmmaker as a jury. And it's an official prize from the festival. So it's really in In the palmarès, it's written Prix du Jury de la Clairière. The prize is given in the official closing ceremony and is communicated as any other award.
We have two questions from Jolie. She asks, first of all, when is this year's festival? And also, whether you use remote participation and what platform you use for it, if you use it.
So the festival is going to be on March 4 to 13, 2016. The website is iflikefestivalifdh.org. So there is all the information there. The debates until last year, I have people working on this, because last year they were all on live stream, but I think it's not working exactly the way we want. It's very difficult to have the right tags. It's very difficult then to implement them on YouTube. So we're still thinking. Another people in the session coming from the Silicon Valley was saying we should use more Periscope, that we're gonna now embed videos directly on Facebook. And it's changing every year. So basically every year we have to rethink this whole strategy. But if you go on the website, for sure it's going to be announced.
Thanks, Isabel. I would have a question, actually, too. First of all, you mentioned that you play only features. Why only features? Which means long films, hour and a half. Why not short films? Why not short stories? Is there? And for a second, do you think that the day is close or closing? That day when everyone can enjoy film online and then discuss regarding the, of course, right?
So regarding feature, we could screen short films, but it's not what I want right now, because I want a real story. I want to get into a story. I want to be surprised. I want to go into the characters. I want to see the internal contradictions of the characters. And I think that's very important to really have a surprising story. And I think you really need 1 hour and a half. Even now, TV series are even reconsidering this. They say, no, you can't do anything in 1 hour and a half. You need 10 hours. So, so 1 hour and a half or 2 hours for me is really the minimum. And then the other idea is that I really, yes. Yes, to really go into a story and to be surprised. Short film, you will have one short, quick message. And then if you want to have a seance, when you're going to pay for a ticket, we have to screen many short films. Nobody's going to only watch a short film of 10 minutes. And then there is this sort of zapping thing, tack, 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 many information during 1 hour and a half, and you really can't think. And what you really want to bring back in this festival is taking the time to listen to a story and taking the time to analyze and taking time also to raise questions during some time. Is really bringing back time to watch, to be impressed, to have an emotion, and then to think. I mean, that's really the thing between one film, one subject, one debate that is super powerful and strong.
What about second question? Is there, how can I say, in the near future, the day when everyone can enjoy online, the film online, you're playing it in a theater, but everyone can see it online and then discuss?
Hopefully this year. We won't be able to do it worldwide and to open the film, and we don't want to do it, because I think it's important, because right now social justice films are getting less and less financed, and it's important for them also to get screening fees, to get rights, to get some sort of financial consideration after they've finished, really. So I would never do it like that. But we are trying to, as we are implementing right now these debates online, we are also trying to say to the rights holder, we will pay for fees just to have a code during 2 hours so they can unlock the film during 2 hours. So that's the way we can very easily do it. Vimeo from 6 to 9, and then it's completely legal. We pay for it, no problem, and everything is right. But worldwide, that's more complicated. But it's not, we are still negotiating it. Well, the whole festival, we're really not, we don't have a huge budget, and we're really, really small team though. So the whole festival gets basically organized in three months, really. So it's, it's a crazy time, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry we came in a bit later. So basically I just,
if I'm not mistaken, it's every year here in Geneva. And I was wondering, how do you choose the program? How do you put it together? Maybe others could also learn from your ingenuity and creativity, how to put something together that also needs financing. And if it's repetition, then you cannot, I guess, always invite the same people or the same films. So how do you keep innovating?
We keep innovating is a very good question. We keep innovating. Of course, every year the thematics are different. So we have 15 debates, high-level debates, and they're going to change every year. There is never one huge thematic that is going to be reframed in 15 ways. I think it's interesting to have every night one or two completely different subjects. So we're going to have this year Eritrea, sports and human rights, etc. So we try to think in various ways. We try to think on really topics that everyone wants to listen or to hear about. Last year, cyber surveillance and Edward Snowden. I mean, of course, everybody wanted to come. But then we also try to give a light to causes that are completely forgotten about. Last year, we had the Rohingyas in Myanmar. This year, it's going to be, for instance, Eritrea. Of course, everybody knows about Eritrea, but who takes the time to discuss about Eritrea with a specialist? So it's a mix of things. We try to also have a mix of big stars. Every year there is a couple of big stars and a mix of really people coming from the ground. This year is going to be, we have a debate about rape by the Islamic State, and we're going to have really two ladies that were not directly a victim, but are really fighting on the ground and fighting to get finance also. How do we finance the festival? Yes, we have to start over every year. We have to have new ideas every year. So the debates on the ground are new. The film in the sports center is a new idea. The film in migrants home are new ideas. And you have to go and fundraise in segments, which is completely exhausting because then you have to report also in segments. So you start to slice your festival and you say, for instance, sports. So I went to fundraise. I did fundraising this year saying we have a sports section. We have a debate about sports and we're going to screen films in the sports center. Can you fund this part? I have fundings we do for the first time screening in the migrants' homes, mixing people. So I got funds because we screened these films for the migrants' home. And this multiplied by 20 or 30. So you go to each foundation and you say, what do you like? What do you want? What can you fund? And then you take your whole festival and you take pieces and you do a budget of this piece and then you report on this piece. But which is hard is it's like all organization, it's really hard to get just, fund for what you are, for the crowdfunding or just to pay for people. And you get in more and more administrative nightmare, really. But it's like that. Yeah.
You don't get core funding from the city of Geneva and from the canton de Genève?
Yes, of course. We get from the canton of Geneva, the city of Geneva, the lottery, the Minister of Foreign Affairs also, but this amount has not changed since 4 years, and the festival has tripled. So yes, it's fine. It was fine 4 years ago, but now we are reaching every year. We doubled the public, and we got really, for the moment, almost nothing more, as all public fundings are being cut. So we have to go to private fundings, philanthropy funds, etc. And they will generally only fund for small pieces. But we are not that bad. I mean, it's just if you want to grow right now, you have to be really creative and go and.
How about cooperating with other cities? So you could maybe, your costs could be shared, let's say, with The Hague, which is also an important place in terms of human rights, or Oslo.
We do so. We share the guests with Prague and London and The Hague with Movies That Matter. So we have guests coming around. But we also, did I talk about Islamabad now or before? I didn't talk about Islamabad. One thing we're thinking, we organized a festival in last December in Islamabad. And we noticed it was super easy. It was the UN in Islamabad, one guy from the UN, basically. We sent a selection of films that were suitable for Pakistan, 5 or 6 films. And then we put him in contact with the right holders. So he got the links, it was all through internet, the rights, the files. Then he shot there, he screened the films with a beamer in the embassies. And we organized together all the conferences by Skype. So I did Skypes, the filmmakers did Skypes, the actors, people from the team, and there were hundreds of people. And this guy alone, with a very small budget, well, of course, he was working with embassy that were allocating not funds but technical material, etc. But then a Skype connection is for free. Everybody was giving in the rights of the film for free, saying, of course, who is going to pay anyway in Islamabad, or for very, very small amounts, maybe $100, $200. And he managed to do it, and he had a huge success. He did it in 5 cities of Pakistan, and then he really wants to grow, and it's really a system that now we want to use more and more to have sort of joint festivals around the world. Yeah.
I don't want to monopolize it. Did some resistance come in Pakistan? Because, you know, there's this relativity theory that some people, particularly in Arab Muslim countries, say this is a Western invention. It's not fit for us. Did anything like this come up during the festival in Pakistan, where people objected to something to be shown that they were considered to come from Christian Western countries?
The selection of the films we did it very, very carefully. So we picked films that were not going to offend Pakistanis. We picked a lot of films that were made by people from the south. A film, for instance, Sabogal, an animation film about corruption in Colombia, made by Colombians. For instance, this film had a huge success. Or a Swiss film, L'Abri, by Fernand Melgar, that is a critic against Switzerland and how foster home works. And how people are left sleeping in the streets in winter in Switzerland, made by a Swiss filmmaker. This kind of films, or a film about made by a Polish filmmaker that is called Something Better to Come, about children in the slums in Russia. So it's Swiss children rights, corruption, or women's rights. Then no, it did not, and then it was in the embassies also for the first edition. So from what I heard, and I saw Victorio last month, he told me no, there were no discussions for right now. The official, because it was chosen very carefully also. So the plan next year is to extend it, to start extending it to universities and schools and see. Yeah, we will see. We will see.
Yeah, well, now the image has taken over. So in the past, the word was good enough so you could create your own image and you listen to the radio play.
So the traditional ways of debunking rumors still apply online. And with Twitter is people still delete tweets. You can ask that the tweet be simply deleted. And once the original tweet has been deleted, all the retweets will also be deleted. I take that again. If an original tweet is wrong, and the owner of the tweet realizes that it is wrong, even if it has been retweeted 1,000,000 times, once the original tweet is deleted, all other retweets are also removed from the system. What cannot be removed from the system is when people take screenshots and keep them. Now, you can also report an account to Twitter and say this account is a parody or something, it's doing damage, it's spreading rumors, and Twitter can suspend that account. So on Twitter, there is a button for report account. So you can report that account to Twitter and they're going to block it. I'm done for now.
Thank you. Clap, clap from here.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So can everyone see the screen? There's the pin. So we're going to run through a series of questions. Some of them are harder than others, of course, but you need to answer on your phones, and you have to answer fast. So we will be getting scored. You'll see who's going faster. Yes.
And this is probably the most equal we've been face-to-face and online. The advantage online is there's no distractions. So we're all participating equally in this game, or you will be. We're on 17 people so far. It's probably also the most accurate estimate we have of participation, face-to-face and online. 18. Give you another minute. Sorry, we need to.
Okay, so I'm with the US Mission. If I wanted to show them this application that you're doing now, will this same pin work so I can walk them through at a later time?
We can download the results. We can, at the end of the quiz, we can download the results for you. But the quiz exists. You can make them do it. Yes. Yes. Maybe. I don't. We have. No, not because we had a new pin this morning. No, I think it changes, but we can send it to you whenever you want. Yeah, or we can make it public. Natalie, yeah, that's it. Natalie is now our quiz. Yeah.
Natalie is saying from the back there where we haven't got a mic, you can make it public at any time, launch again, and you get a new pin and you run it again. And meanwhile, they'll change the questions. Start.
Is everyone online?
Looking at the online group as well. Online people, are you online? You're using your smartphones? Actually, any phone with an internet connection, really. So we're on 24. 24 players. Go.
So, are you ready? Everyone ready? So this is our first question. Who is International Geneva? On your phones, you have 4 answers. On the screens, you have the options. We need to move the Adobe Connect thing. So, international organizations, non-governmental organizations, permanent missions, or academic institutions. You must answer as quickly as possible. Yeah, speed counts. Go for it. Which is your favorite? This will also give us the impression who thinks more. Yep. Go for it. Choose one. It'll tell you when we go to the next question. When we get the 24 answers, it'll tell you on your screen. So if you have it right, when we click next, you will get on your screen whether you had it right or wrong. And one last person, Paula, you didn't answer? You did? Okay. So are we ready? So all of them are correct, actually. All of these actors are part of International Geneva. Most people see it related to international organizations, one NGO. So ready for the next one? Okay. Let's go. Roxana won. Roxana was the first one to answer. DD2A. There we go. That's the scorecard. Roxana was the...
We're going to. I think at the end you get who scored the worst, don't you?
Okay, let's go. Next question. How big is International Geneva? How many people does it employ? I don't... We have all the answers? Do we have all the answers? I think so. Shall we just go for it? Or do we wait? We can't. Let me change the Zoom. No? No? Okay, there, 21. Okay, so we're missing 3 answers. Oh, wow, that sounds promising. Okay, well, let's see what happens if it gets to 1, since we're already here at 5. You only have... Okay, time up. The answer is 40,000. Okay, let's see who won that question. Shorty. Yeah? Shorty? And Koala was number 2. Oh, go. 3. Cool. Okay. Interesting nicknames. Okay, third question. What does International Geneva size really mean across the city? That 1 in 5 people work for International Geneva, 1 in 10, 1 in 20, or 1 in 50? Okay, well, I was going to speed this up, okay? So, really fast. Okay, come on. Just pick an answer. Should we go? Do you think people dropped out? Okay. So the correct answer is 1 in 10, and most people had that one right. I think that the population of Geneva is actually like 190,000. No, that's Greater Geneva. That's Greater Geneva. That's how we count it. Okay, next. Okay, Koala is taking the lead. So how many international organizations are hosted in Geneva? So this is a prickly number as well because there's different ways of counting. From 10 to 20, 31 to 40, 21 to 30, or 41 to 50. Okay, very fast. Off the top of your head. Where you just go? Okay, so the correct answer is between 31 to 40. Oh, that's interesting that everyone thought it was a bigger number. Again, this is because we count differently. International organizations with headquarters in Geneva or hosted in Geneva are 31 to 40. But if we count every single little agency, it's over 40. So again, it's a matter of how we count it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry?
Who is Koala? Is Koala... Koala is in the room, so we want some people in the virtual room, please. We need you to speed up.
Okay, let's go. Next. Okay, so who was the first member of International Geneva, founded in 1863? Come on, somebody overtake Koala. I think we only have 19 players now, right? Maybe some people dropped out. Okay. Wow, yay, most people got that one right. So there's oh, Barbara, is Barbara in the room? Barbara, you're catching up on Koala. Let's go. Next one, who was the first member of International Geneva to facilitate e-diplomacy in 1960? Fast. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh. Oh, so most people got that one right. I think we actually mentioned this yesterday. So that was testing how awake you were. Koala in the lead. Okay. So did we go back? No, it's forward. Okay. So this one we already Ah, okay, so this is the UN. How many UN agencies, bodies? Let's ask. Okay, let's ask Koala.
I don't know if you heard that. Yovan said, ask Koala, who was sitting beside him. We're not being competitive at all, are we, Yovan?
Okay. So let's see. So 30 to 40. Did Koala get that one right? Let's see who won. Ah, Koala! Okay, next one. How many treaties are administered from Geneva? So here you go, a curveball. Let's see who gets treaties administered from Geneva. Come on, Koala. Who's getting this one right? Okay, let's see. Who got that one? Oh, okay, so we don't know our treaties, huh? Oh, poor Koala, for the first time she got an X. She's suffering. Okay, next one. Barbara's catching up. Okay, which one is not a United Nations body fund or the Organization for Outer Space Affairs, for Marine Exploration, Civil Aviation, or Sport Development and Peace? Which one is not part of the UN? Which one did we just make up? Huh? Okay, let's see. Marine exploration is just fictitious. Yeah, that one comes from Natalie's imagination. She felt that the oceans are not getting enough attention, so.
But it's important that outer space is getting the attention it deserves, I think.
Outer space affairs is there when if we may ever need it. Okay. Next one. How many NGOs are based in Geneva? Come on, Koala. This one's easy. This one. Okay. We don't agree with the numbers, but the categories here are big enough. They're based in Geneva. Okay, let's go. Let's see how we're doing. Everyone is kind of on board there. Okay. Koala's still on the lead. Barbara's catching up. Okay. Which organization in Geneva was voted the most effective user of social media? Okay. Yeah? Again, remembering what was going on here yesterday. Well, this is, it was yesterday, yeah. Let's go. Oh. Oh. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there. So that was, it was World Wildlife Fund, yeah, they won the award yesterday. Now, Koala clearly got it right. Come on, Barbara. Fred. Fred.
Yeah, Fred, whoever Fred is. DJ coming up.
Okay. How many foreign states are represented in Geneva by a permanent mission? Hey.
Now, this is the really geeky one. Come on.
Sneaky. Okay, well that one's spread out evenly. Oh, DJ just jumped up, huh? Is DJ in the room? Where's DJ? Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay, this one is easy for everyone that was here yesterday. Got it? The French mission. Everyone, yeah. Okay, this one's good. How many people does International Geneva impact every day? Every day. How many people are touched? How many lives are touched every day by the work that comes from International Geneva? We made them up. Yeah. You can customize the quiz as you like. So this is an important message that we need to get out there. So maybe you'll never forget again, ever again. We go. 7 billion people. Yeah, the whole planet, every day. Oh, everyone agrees. Most people, at least. That's great. Okay. Koala still in the lead. DJ creeping up. DJ's about to pass Barbara. Okay, guys. Jovan? Jovan? Teresa, come on, Diplo people. Koala, how are you doing with this one? 581. Okay, so Koala still in the... Oh, Ian. Ian. Wow. Okay, unsuspected. That was it? I think so. Let's see. Do we have a final? Or is that the score?
It says end now.
Okay, so Koala, Ian, Barbara, DJ, and Fred. Those are our top 5. That's
Were any of those online? I mean, apart from online here. Anyone online participants among that?
Is there more? No, we only get a top 5. Well, we can download the results and see.
It's a very close race for second place. Koala's got almost... No.
Koala's in the lead.
Yeah, well, Koala's won by a mile.
So, anyway, we thought this quiz would... Oh, there! Top scorer, Koala! Well done. So we thought it would be nice to have some sort of, play with digital engagement where you're actually in real time present, but online at the same time, and see what happens also with participants that are online. I hope it was as exciting for them as it was for us. It must have been a little bit different. And now, to move on, I think we're going to split up in little groups. Is that our agreement? No, or do you want to?
No, I'm just trying to... There are two things we were going to do. One is just revisit the SDG game, and it's going to be hard to do for people online and in the room. Just a show of hands. The SDG riddle. How many of you in the room, and how many people, please raise your hands online, how many of you actually got nearly finished the SDG riddle? Do you know, I feel a huge sense of relief. I looked at it, and it reminded me when I was about 7, 8, or 9, and somebody would call me out and say, when you're standing far away from a mirror and there's a man in front of you of 6 foot, how far away are you if you only... Do you know those kind of questions? And I had the same reaction when I looked at the riddle. I thought, So probably the best thing to do is explain the process of the riddle, and then we'll finish off with...
Walk everyone through it. Okay.
And how we're going to do it online. I know you've got some big...
I think we'll just do it in an interactive way with people walking up here, and we'll put it together. So, but of course, it's not... I just want to get... Well, I'm going to grab something.
Okay. So Caroline is going to go off and get some visual aids. So the scenario, if you remember, is about who is presenting SDG 3.
I will need. Okay. So I think I will end up needing like 25 volunteers. So this is not just about a game and a riddle. The game and a riddle was an excuse to talk about one of our projects. And this is a project that we started last year, which is mapping the expertise that exists in Geneva to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We realized that there's a huge momentum around the SDGs, and it's so important to have basic knowledge of who is doing what where. So we did because of the nature of our project that has so many partners across International Geneva, we thought, let's just do an initial mapping exercise. Let's define what do we mean by expertise. And that's why it's a bit confusing when we talk about types of expertise, because this was a brainstorming process. We identified 9 types of expertise. So one has to do with legal frameworks. Another one is capacity building, data research and analysis. Other organizations do field operations. Others do policy. So how do we map this out in a coherent way so we can provide all of our partners and member states and the rest of most member states a good overview of where to go or who to work with? So we are this initial mapping, which is here, which actually, why don't we distribute it? You guys just hand it out. This initial mapping that we did was a big. There is an online version. I have to send it. There is no URL for now. There will be. There will be.
Yeah, just apologies to the online folks. It's in the process of being renewed, isn't it? That's why. We were very close to URL, but we're not there now.
So the thing is, this initial mapping was very successful because it really managed to engage a lot more partners. Because this is the challenge, if we really need to bring people together to say, okay, let's join forces and let's try to map everybody, you need people to buy in. So this initial exercise has helped kind of unlock the gates. So we're now in the second mapping exercise. We currently have an online survey. There are 200 surveys that had already been started by someone. Not all of them have been completed, but most of the big international organizations have already jumped on board, and we're really looking forward to building on this and produce a nice set of tools and visualizations and a set of products that will be useful for everyone. So this is what this project, which really entails people coming on board and filling out the survey, is what we really want to put on everybody's radar, because I think it'll be a useful tool for everyone. So when we came up with the riddle, we thought this is actually an old riddle that was developed by Albert Einstein, and he did it for his students, and it's supposed to be really hard. I think it's only 2% of people can solve it. So it was really for us, it was for Natalie, who was really involved in this, and we spent hours trying to adapt Einstein's riddle to SDGs and to our mapping, because it's confusing, but we really wanted it to become a fun exercise. So I guess we can just try to go through the riddle. So I need people to come up and grab one of these. So volunteers. Can you hold it for a second?
Okay, so online people, we'll try and track as much as we can using the camera. I'm kind of relieved that only 2% of the population solved Einstein's riddle. Makes me feel a bit better. We need volunteers. We need 25 people. That means I don't think anybody will be left sitting. We've driven somebody from the room. Yeah, it's going to be easier if you just take one, because there's a matching exercise. Can we open the circle? Remember, there's a camera here. Yeah. So opening the circle. So what what's being distributed here are the hints that were shared among people. So Alexandra, you're going to have to put down the camera. Come and join us. We need you, yeah, we need you to come and hold one of these cards. We've got one more to go. Thank you very much. You're all right, Alexandra. Snap, no, you're okay. You can just keep on snapping us.
Okay, so why don't we, so let's read the riddle again, so it's in our head. We have 5 international organizations. Sorry, microphone. We have 5 international organizations. UNFPA, ITU, ICRC, UNDP, and OHCHR, right? You guys are going to be talking about synergies. Each one of you is going to present some sort of impact, some sort of expertise. You're going to say how many agencies also share your expertise, and which SDG, exactly. So we need to match you guys. So, number 1, ITU is going to be highlighting its expertise in capacity building. ITU, okay, you guys get together. SDG 16, go with legal support. Legal support. There. Yeah, camera.
Keep remembering the camera so folk online can watch this.
The upper expertise in field missions, okay, provided 26 million people with water. Water and field missions, yeah. Okay. You guys are together. OHCHR is presenting after UNFPA. Okay, so now we have an order. There's an order, right? So OHCHR is before UNFPA. So why don't you get to her right? You're before her. Okay? The organization presenting SDG 5, who is SDG 5, is going to highlight 43 agencies that have the same expertise. So 43, okay, with SDG 5, you guys are together. Yeah, okay. UNDP will highlight 27 agencies that have the same, 27 with UNDP. Okay. Can you imagine if this just doesn't add up? Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so the third organization speaking, there's a third organization speaking, empowered 1 million women with digital literacy. Okay, so you're in the middle. So we know you're in the middle somewhere. Okay, you're in the middle. Okay, perfect. Okay. Organization with expertise in coordination. Coordination presents first. Okay, so you are around here. You're first, and you're third. That's what we know for now in terms of position. Okay? The organization presenting SDG is, organization highlighting 29 agencies, okay, will sit next to the one presenting SDG 11. SDG 11 will be next to, okay, you'll be next. Yeah, you guys are next to each other. We don't know in which order, but you're next to each other. The organization with expertise in advocacy will highlight 40 agencies. So advocacy with 40 agencies. Advocacy and 40 agencies go together. Organization with expertise in coordination will sit next to ICRC. So ICRC, you're next to coordination. He's in here. He's first. Ah, okay. It's first, so you're second. Well, we've discovered something, a new piece of information. No, like face the camera. Face the camera. Okay, so we do need to, okay. Yeah, give me a second. So, wait, we haven't finished it. Yeah. The organization highlighting 29 agencies will sit next to the organization that registered 18 million voters. 29. You already, no. Okay, no, but she's also next to him, right? 29 agencies. Okay. So the question is, you don't know what order it is. So the question is, who's presenting SDG 3? Who's gonna? That's the question. Okay, shall we walk through it? Okay, so what we know so far is we know that coordination is organization number 1. Sorry, is expertise number 1. We know that ICRC is next to them, but because he's first, he has to be second, and we know that empowered women is third. Okay, then we know. Okay, I need to walk through the whole thing. This is really. So we know one thing. Yeah. We definitely know. Here.
We'll pass it around, and if anyone has thoughts as to how we figure this out, we'll work on it together. So I remember one clue correctly, and I remember that OHCHR presents after UNFPA. Is that right? So we know that those two wonderful ladies must move beyond ICRC.
Exactly, because you cannot be in the first 2 slots. So you have to be here.
You too.
Sorry?
How do we know?
You have to hang around. So
one here and one there? One here and one there?
OHCHR is after UNFPA. We don't know. Okay, so apparently the organization with expertise and coordination, we have that, will sit next to ICRC. Okay, we also know that OHCHR is after UNFPA. The expert in coordination cannot be OHCHR. It cannot be UNFPA because you're there. And it can't be ICRC. We also know that it can't be ITU because ITU is stuck with capacity building. So it can't be coordination. Okay? So so we know that ITU only has one space. ITU could be in 3rd place, actually. Is that it? You go. Yes, you bring your capacity building. Yeah? You guys are together. Okay. Yes, yes. I mean, do we just skip it? I think we can. Do we walk it like step by step, or do we just go for it? Okay. Okay. So okay. Yeah. So what we need to do, guys, is the guys who have organizations keep it really high. The ones with agencies keep it really low. The ones with expertise like medium, and then the impact in the middle. So we need to figure out the order. Okay. So we know. Okay, UNDP, you figured out your spot. You did. That's fantastic. And then we know that UNFPA is there. How do we get that they... So the organization highlighting 26 agencies with complementary expertise combated impunity in 22 countries. Since we know the impact of ITU and UNFPA, the only possibilities are ICRC and OHCHR. UNDP highlighted 27 agencies with similar expertise. Okay? So who else is coming here? The only possible impact for UNDP is 18 million voters. How do we get to that? Yeah? Is that okay? Ah, okay. I'm sorry, I skipped a part. Is that obviously UNFPA pushed for the youth of 42 countries. Sorry? Yeah, you're with UNFPA. Is that UNFPA or is that OHCHR? No. Ah, you need to find a space. This is not... Okay, the organization that combated impunity is linked to 26 agencies, so it should be OHCHR. Okay, we know that ITU is working on capacity building. Yeah? Oh, you're joining forces? Okay. Then ITU must be... Oh, we have everyone. We have ITU, we have UNDP, we have ICRC, we have ITU, we have UNFPA, we have the order of organizations. You are ITU. You are ITU. You're the third. Should we, you guys are all together, so we need to know 58.
The only one that's left is ICRC. We have already connected the Infinity? Yeah, so the ICRC. No. That's not right.
How do we get to this? Because it should work on legal support. Okay, so... Yeah, okay, okay. Yes, I think that's really good. Yes, go. I think you can go. You should meet them. No, I come with you. Yeah, you come with them.
Where do I go?
Okay. So that's a good Okay. So should we just do it? Okay. So what do we have so far? So we have the first one is UNDP, coordination, 18 million voters, 27 agencies. What SDG can go with these guys? Do we know? No. Okay, it's 11. It's 11. Yes. Yeah. So then we have ICRC with your operations in the field. 29 agencies. 29 agencies. Yeah, it's you guys. You go with them. And SDG 6. Yeah. ITU, capacity building, empowering women. Yeah. 43 agencies. 43 agencies. Okay. SDG 5. Okay, perfect. And then OHCHR is legal support. 42 million countries. 26 agencies. SDG 16. Okay, guys. Who presents SDG 3? Who presents SDG 3? There. Yes. Yes. So there it is. That's the only one spot left. It's UNFPA. It's UNFPA with advocacy, pushed the rights of youth in 42 countries with 40 agencies, and that's the organization presenting SDG 3. So we managed. It's just too hard. But you know, UNFPA. Huh?
Let's have your card.
Okay.
So online, folks, I don't know if you feel unhappy at not being part of that exercise or happy at not being part of that exercise. Wonderfully rich and complex.
The US is in the market. That's
No, you wanted to show your websites. So should we do another round of applause for the PCP team? Took hours to do this. Let's have a proper round of applause. I mean, really good. I think it's a wonderful game, and I walk away just so reassured that I didn't get it. So the last thing you wanted to do, Caroline, is just quickly show a website of the work you're doing with an invitation to people. And that's an invitation to people online as much as invitation to people here. Now, what are you going to do about the prizes? I mean, does Koala get a prize? So we'll have to find a way to distribute e-versions of this. Did anyone online manage to solve the riddle? We don't think so. No. The prize is...
We all did. We have a recipe book to give. A recipe book that we made for, well, to show what's cooking in Geneva. We have contributions from many of our partners, including the DiploFoundation. So I have a couple here, but we brought, I just didn't carry them all, but we'd be delighted to give you all a copy, and thank you so much for participating. And we can send a, well, if we can send a real copy, actually. I prefer the real stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's it's hard to cook from a PDF.
Yeah, not the same. So just a final thing that we would like to share with you is another project that we're rolling out. That is a project that we're doing with the support of the Canton of Geneva. And again, it's also aimed at bringing everyone together collectively to work on a common communications platform. We're calling this Geneva Data, and it's going to be a one-stop shop that will ease access to information across the different organizations. So the way we're designing this is all of our partners are welcome to join the project, create a profile, and upload the type of information that they produce. Some organizations do maps, others do databases, others have annual reports, country profiles. We have like 18 types of information, and this will always be adapting. So you can upload your information here, tag it by goals, tag it by theme, and it will make it very easy for users to search. And the idea is that this will be a gateway to your content. So if you're producing a country fact sheet and you do it every 3 months, and it's, I don't know, it's on humanitarian assistance, people can look who does country profiles and humanitarian assistance, and they will be directed to you. So we don't want to duplicate work that is being out there, but we want to make the information easier to find. The challenge here again is for this to be really successful is to make sure that as many partners involved contribute to this platform, and we need it to, it hasn't been launched yet. So the idea is we will have an online inventory that will hopefully be growing and growing, and keep you know, thanks to the collective contributions, it will be alive. But it also comes with a physical binder that is supposed to be customized to your needs. So this is primarily designed to make information more accessible to researchers and to journalists, who we usually hear them complain that it's so hard to navigate all of the different websites from the different international organizations. So this data book, this binder, will be customized, and the idea is that it comes with a certain set of information that are some tools for researchers, journalists, and for speechwriters. So you get quotes and some material that can help you, but ultimately it's about you being able to download the material you want and classifying it. So this is, you get to do your own binder, and we just provide you the platform. So this hasn't been launched. It's just getting started. We already have several enthusiastic partners that are uploading their content, but it would be great for this to be on your radar. If you want to be part of it, everyone's invited. The more the merrier. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Carolina. We got a question first, and then Diana, if that's all right.
So now we have 25 organizations already. We have about 80 databases in English, and somewhere between 10 and 20 in French, and that's only 3 weeks after the platform beta version has been launched. And we are aiming to have 80 organizations by the end of the year. So we're opening this first to the PCB partners, but to all of International Geneva, and are hoping that your organizations will join as well. And we will send around the binders so that you can take a look. This is the second version.
I'm just not understanding my sign language. I can use this now. All right.
Well, thank you. This is a great initiative, and I think it's going to be very useful. But I also wanted to make a comment about the specific Geneva ecosystem.
in terms of Geneva International. Because you could see that, I think the number was saying that agencies and IOs, altogether about 50. And then you have the third ring, so-called the famous third ring, which are NGOs, about 400 something. NGOs are very much strapped with resources and trying to do as much as one can. And this, is calling for voluntary contribution and to put information onto the net. And can I venture to propose that maybe it's not, you don't want to have the situation only the large NGOs and large organizations are participating because the rest are just swimming in the river trying to survive. So is there some way to sort of for you to take the platform to take initiative and looking at the site and then to make that available? Because if you just sort of send in a URL, it's a no big deal. But if you want people to write content and all that, it doesn't make sense.
If I understand you correctly, you're saying that it would be good if this was open to everyone, big and small. That's I'm just saying supporting the small ones. Yes, for sure. I mean, one of the characteristics of our project, if you see that a lot of the things that we're doing doesn't even use the UN logo. We're really about our doors are completely open to everyone who just wants to be part of this. So all of our partners include big and small NGOs and a lot of the big organizations that need to be there because it'll be an evident gap if we do an SDG mapping and WHO decides not to be there. We kind of need the basics, but it's completely available. And actually, this platform, which is free and is there, is a great solution for even for many UN agencies that are strapped for resources and don't have communications teams and produce valuable content. So, yeah, okay. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks very much indeed. Again, another round of applause, don't you think? And not just for Carolina, but for the kind of team that's developing it. And I'm sorry to cut you short, but we're trying very hard to finish at 5. And we're going to move just to a final exercise. It's not an exercise. You've all got on your seats one of these. I mean, there are monitoring and evaluation specialists among you. Your skin must be crawling. This is not an evaluation form. It's just a way of gathering some ideas. So picking up from Kuno's theme earlier, online, I think we would ask you to use the text chat because we can capture that. Take a minute, as Kuno was saying earlier today, take a minute and reflect. Some of you've been here from when we started at 11:30 yesterday through to now, 20 to 5. We're going to stop at 5 CET time. Have a think. For Diplo, in terms of what it does next, for you yourselves, your own practice, your own work in working with people internationally, trying to widen participation, deepen
ideas. Oh, sorry, I can't read the icon. The bottom one is ideas.
The bottom one is ideas. So that's the 3 categories online. It's yeah, this is great, this is really positive. This is something that Diplo should think about, whether we do the same again or do it differently. And then ideas for the future. So take a minute to reflect and then write some stuff down. You can be anonymous or give us your name so we can engage with you later. Let's give you a couple of minutes to do that. And then Yvan will say some words. The one thing I think Yvan will do, just reminding him, is that we were asked, I've had a couple of questions, people saying, well, how much is this, how do you do this? What's the infrastructure involved? Because one of our aims was to demonstrate that without masses of resources, the superb resources that the ITU has, for example, that Edmund Tam was talking about, with tracking cameras and multiple interpreters and so on, that's an organization with a mega budget. Lots of organizations, you make the point about NGOs, but not just NGOs, missions with small numbers of staff have much smaller budgets, and we were just experimenting with what does it mean to deliver a minimum level of effective online remote participation. Yeah, so you might want to say a little bit about the infrastructure involved in this, which will give you a chance to thank the superb work from Arvin and Zarko in maintaining the infrastructure against constant requests for change and ever-shortening deadlines. In the classic manner, if you're like me, you think best talking. Well, maybe I should think more before I open my mouth. But by and large, my ideas come when I engage with somebody. If you've ever done Myers-Briggs, I'm an E. So in other words, I process out in the open with people. So by all means, talk to the person next to you. Share some ideas. Along the other end of the spectrum in the Myers-Briggs is the I. And the I is you need time to yourself to think, to reflect, and then you're prepared to share. So make your choice. Talk to somebody, do it yourself, and then in a couple of minutes we'll ask Jovan to wrap things up. Online, you can do both. You can grab a private chat. You can share something in the screen. Give us your thoughts. I think what we'd like to do, I'm just confirming, do we have, Arvin, do we have email addresses for all the online participants by any chance? We do. We have email addresses for all online participants. We will surely send an email survey to the online participants because I think it's been one of the hardest exercises to gauge whether or not you felt engaged and very much your ideas for the future and your recommendations. So we'll be sending a different kind of questionnaire for the online folks. Autumn vegetables served in petals of Musqué de Provence squash with olive oil and truffle shavings. Scallops from Erquy, Jerusalem artichoke mousseline with a dash of pistachio oil and Alba white truffle. Bees eggs royales. Bees cheesecake. Now this is more serious. Log cake, milk chocolate mousse and Gruyere cream. Ugh. Salted butter caramel, soft hazelnut biscuit and Toblerone shortbread crisp. Oh heavens. What a crime to the Toblerone. Which is Diplo's recipe. Changes every day. This is a great French recipe. It's almost unpronounceable. Dacquoise feuillantine au chocolat. Sounds serious. Un buffet à la Diplo. What page is that? Where are we? 129. Yeah, I think yeah, it's a series. This is the Capacité Buffet à la Diplo, à la carte, just-in-time snacks for full-course dinners. Not for the faint-hearted. Have the courage to try unusual combinations of ingredients, making the best use of those available in the pantry. And the things, do read it, but I'll just add the last two. Two. 2 cups of humour, seasoned with a dash of political savvy. A huge helping of generosity. Thank you and thank you. Patience. Thank you and thank you. And willingness to share. Jovan.
Thank you, Pete. Well, one thing that we should change is definitely microphones. You know that you should add in the list. Well, it is difficult to deliver a concluding speech to such unique event, and there is no script except 3 points. I always have to find 3 points. The first point is about the conference itself, and I promise that I will give you some sort of insight how we did it. We were basically asked to make a small event, and as is always happened with Diplo and I guess with PCP and similar initiatives, it went out of proportion. Teresa has been alerting me. We went far beyond the budget which was outlined. This event cost, the budget was in the range of 35,000 Swiss francs for the background study, for 3 months of consultations, and for the event itself, with very complex technical infrastructure of having the 4 workstations. For those of you who are in Geneva and who know the Geneva prizes, you know that it's completely out of the proportion. And the only possibility to do it was that really we have a great team here in Geneva with Teresa, Barbara, Roxana, Alexandra, great technical team with Arvin, congratulations, Žarko, Davide, and well, many people who worked helping us from the Belgrade office, from Malta office. Ginger is in the United States, and it's always tricky. I will miss somebody. But what was the key is to try to experiment in a very professional way. What we do, we call it sustainable innovation. We do our background work properly, but then once the event starts, one development starts, we let things happen in optimal way. Therefore, this is sort of modus operandi of Diplo. Very solid preparations, but then when things start happening, well, that they happen in that way. And this was the experimental aspect of this exercise, designed to the large extent in discussion between Pete and myself. And the key idea was to have a good preparation, especially technical preparation and moderation preparation, but then to leave things to develop in the most optimal way. I think that personally I learned a lot. It was great learning experience, and I thought I knew quite a few things on e-participation. I have almost 20 years of e-participation experience, and but then I realized that I'm basically beginner, and there are so many insights and things that we got from you. Now about the next step, Indian delegate yesterday asked about award next year. Therefore, we have to provide Geneva award the next year. We will have definitely online exchange. We will try to introduce some of these elements of e-participation in various activities of Diplo and Geneva Internet Platform. For example, we will have internet briefing hubs worldwide. The first was established in Rio. Next month will be Jakarta, probably in Africa. Hubs are places where people meet and they discuss their local dynamics with regard to digital policy and internet governance, and then relate to global issues. It's very simple exercise. Every last Tuesday in the month, people meet at a particular place at 1 o'clock CET, and they get some sort of cognitive consonance, because you receive a lot of information about digital politics, about Uber, about ICANN, about ITU. And our idea is once a month at 1 o'clock CET, last Tuesday in the month, people gather here in Geneva, now in Rio, in Jakarta, in different places. They have 20 minutes of the global briefing, what's happened during the previous month, in data protection, privacy, issues which are more more and more touching all of us. Then they report from their respective countries, from Rio, from Jakarta, from Africa, what is their perception, their view on privacy. Because what we have to be very careful is that we shouldn't tend to think that everything happens in Geneva. Geneva is an important hub, but the importance of Geneva is in its perception from outside, from the places like Jakarta or Rio. Therefore, this is the main idea of that exercise, and it is becoming quite popular. We are receiving more and more requests for the hub. Therefore, we'll start continuing this experiment in vivo of e-participation and interplay between in situ and online. Well, my concluding remark is not up to the real spirit and humor and dynamics which we had during the conference, but I would like to thank you all for great efforts, for our great team, for all of you, because as you noticed, there was a blurring line between participants and presenters, which thanks to Pete, he was religiously reminding me to forget the panels, traditional panels, and to keep it as interactive as possible. I would like to invite all of you to give a big thanks to Pete, who did an enormously great and creative job. Thank you, Pete. Our special thanks to online community for all of you who woke up this morning at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the United States and follow the discussion. We know that it is difficult to do it without the context, social context. Therefore, big thanks to all of you. Clap, clap, clap. Well, with this, I would like to thank you once more and to declare this conference closed. If Pete, you don't have anything else. Thank you. Official closure. Bang. Bye. Thank you.